And I think the first part of this issue that should be articulated is AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced in terms of decisions and opinions that may be made through that process.
Westmount High School alumni and current Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, holding a meeting yesterday with labor and civil rights leaders on the future of artificial intelligence. Those were her words to the group assembled at the White House yesterday. If only you could see Mitch Joel's face as he listened to Kamala Harris explain what artificial intelligence is. We have big news, by the way, on the artificial intelligence front. Elon Musk added again. The Twitter owner now looking at artificial intelligence. He's been involved in the past, by the way, in AI with a lot of his companies, but he's just started a new company called XAI. He's teaming up with people that have worked on other AI-generated apps like OpenAI, Google Research, Microsoft Research, and DeepMind. How big a deal is it that Elon Musk has started a specific new company all geared towards artificial intelligence? Mitch Joel is tech advisor, investor, and the author of Control-Alt-Delete. Mitch, welcome back.
Great to see you, Elias. Thanks for having me.
I know you cannot replicate the Vice President of the United States and her expertise in AI, but please try. How important, interesting is this latest development that Elon Musk has started yet another company all about AI?
Elon Musk must hate sleep. That's what I'm convinced of. Between SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter, if you could just imagine one human being doing that, plus he has other interests in this. This isn't really new news. He has been talking about this X company as an everything company for a while. People may not know this, but he was actually a co-founder of OpenAI. Has become very critical of the firm since he left it in 2018. But imagine 2018, co-founder of OpenAI, which is the company now responsible for things like ChatGPT and the DALL-E AI image generating. So this isn't news. It isn't news for anybody who's doing anything, forget even technology or beyond. We're here in Montreal having Startup Festival that I've been attending yesterday. It runs through till tomorrow on Friday. And everything is AI talk. And we're not just talking about tech startups. Every single business is going to be impacted by not just artificial intelligence. I think that's an ongoing thing, but the new tools, which are these generative AI tools, which are the main catalyst for these conversations right now.
So I hear 2 lines of thought right now. One is OpenAI. They have this lead. It's insurmountable. This is why other companies are calling for a moratorium to give themselves time to catch up. And then I hear other people say this so-called lead of OpenAI, it could be in 1 week gone, supplanted by someone else. This is how quick things are moving in this space. What's your take? Will leads be insurmountable, or will there be every day a new leader in AI?
No, the leads are not insurmountable for a myriad of reasons. One is the baseline technology that allowed tools like GPT to come to fruition is based off of a technology called transformers. I'm not going to get into it, but understand that the paper on transformers was actually authored and created by Google. Again, if you look at OpenAI, their major funding, $10 billion plus, is from Microsoft. So I don't think these are insurmountable because these companies who have ongoing concerns in our trillion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar valuation all have a certain level of technicality and an understanding of it. So I don't think it's that. I do think that it's going to be harder for startups who come in to be competitive because there's so much money being thrown at it at companies that are primarily either somewhat monopolistic or close to being monopolistic. So that's one side of it. I mean, the other real truth is that where are they getting this data that it's learning on? Because we have to also understand that this is just an algorithm that is producing some type of predictive result, whether it's text-based or image-based or whatever. And what we do know is that the tools or platforms that they're using are some of the web, but mostly Reddit, to be honest, is a big chunk of where they're getting this data from, this raw data, this conversational data that's creating these text-based results. So I don't think it's insurmountable. I think that money is always a tool by which companies use to keep people out. It would be hard for a startup to come out with a great idea and not have it be acquired or acqui-hired in this situation. So there is a worry I always have when it's tech-based that the giants just have too much money to throw at founders for them to create the next Meta, the next OpenAI. That will be the challenge.
So just based on that, you mentioned Reddit, like, are these AIs, just taking Reddit, feeding it into their AI systems here? Oh, and relating to Elon Musk. So he added some more insight. Remember when Twitter had that weekend where they were rate limiting and they were stopping people from viewing a lot of tweets? He added to this mix yesterday. He added some more details, and he said that 4 big companies were trying to scrape or basically download every single tweet ever, all at the same time, in order to train their AI. That's what led to the rate limits there. So just to that, like, with these so-called artificial intelligence companies, certainly seems like they're nothing without stealing a bunch of people's tweets or Reddit posts.
I just want to make sure it's not a red herring, though, to use AIs. Companies like that have been doing that for decades off of any platform. Just think about what happened with Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. That is essentially what's happening. They're scraping this data to use for another purpose. So I don't think AI is the factor here so much as companies, especially larger ones, are constantly looking for ways to create larger and larger data sets. AI simply is an accelerant and or new reason to try it maybe more aggressively.
Twitter filing a lawsuit against 4 entities located in Dallas, Texas, accusing them of scraping large amounts of data. This just coming out in the last 12 hours or so. And that
but the truth is there also that, look, all of the information on data on Twitter was public. If I went to Elias Makos's profile, I didn't have to log in to see it or anything like that. So why does Twitter do that? Well, they do that because they need to try and grow their user base. If they create the barrier of having to sign up to see what Elias says on Twitter, that might be so this is this weird cat and mouse game of these companies trying to generate as much impressions and time spent. And the result of that is, well, if you make that more and more public, it's going to be scrapable by anybody. And in fairness, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to, quote unquote, scrape it to use because it's public anyways. So this is the problem.
Okay, but it leads me to this question, which is we keep calling it artificial intelligence. When I see these examples where maybe we just need to call it artificial mimicking, because if it scrapes all of my tweets, it uses me as that resource, what it seems like, it's not intelligent. It doesn't actually know anything. It just knows how to cleverly mimic how we talk.
Now you're heading into the real crux of things, which is if you said to me, Mitch, what is artificial intelligence? I would say to you, it is a code and algorithm that was created with no real information in it that can both learn and acquire the skills at the same pace a human being can, and at the same time, explain back to you its reasoning as to why it was doing what it's doing. Generative AI tools, ChatGPT, DALL-E, is taking historical existing information from the web, creating it in a new web interface, and using some type of text code to basically guess what you are looking for and or at, or create it or recreate it in a new way. So the challenge with this is, of course, you have all these companies saying we're AI, because it inflates their market valuation, creates more value, when in theory, as somebody I think at The Guardian once said, maybe this is just computers doing computer stuff.
Yeah, that's it, right? Still trying to figure out which one it is.
Which one is this?
I'll look to you and to the vice president for more in the future, Mitch. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks, Elias.
Mitch Joel, tech advisor, investor, and the author of Control, Alt, Delete.